longevity has its place. But I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. And He's allowed me to go up on the mountain. And I've looked over and I've seen the promised land. And I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land, and I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man. My eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. Thank you, and God bless.
Wasn't that amazing? We want to thank Mr. Lucas for that. We must never forget, I think that's the takeaway from, we must never forget all of those people who sacrificed and gave their lives in the 1950s, 40s, 60s for equality. So we are so thankful that Mr. Lucas shared his talents with us today. For those who would like to see more of him, he'll be performing at the Henry Ford during Black History Month in February, and he has a full schedule. He's an absolute wonderful impersonation of Dr. King, and I think it was uplifting for all of us. So I'm going to go for like a 3-minute recess. If there's anyone who'd like to take a picture with Mr. Lucas, we'll do that real quickly. If you want to do groups in front of the flag, I'll give 3 minutes. So if they're going to do groups of 3 or 4 to take pictures with Mr. Lucas. So 2-minute recess. Isn't it?
It's so spot on.
Okay. All commissioners, if you could come to the front of the room, we'll
and financially and helping us prevent some liabilities along the way. And, you know, especially with the constant transition that we've had, so many changes in leadership. You know, it's almost like what term limits did to the state legislature. You got staffers knowing more than the elected officials because they're changing all the time. And you guys have been such a strong foundation, been there, and having done all these audits on all the departments, that when you sit down with these new people that come in and out of these departments, you know, you're really able to help them optimize their performance in their position and tackle some of these challenges. So I really think your impact on the county to the taxpayers is invaluable, and I hope to see you get funded the way you need to be able to hire the people you need to hire to keep doing what you're doing. So thank you for your service. I appreciate it a great deal. Thank you.
Thank you. Any additional comments on the audit report? Hearing none, please vote.
Motion carries.
Next item, please.
We are on Report D from the Committee on Public Safety, Judiciary, and Homeland Security. There are 3 items listed on pages 7 and 8 of the agenda.
Commissioner Clark-Holman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to move items 1 through 3 for approval.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any discussion on the public safety report?
Just glad to see that funding is still coming in for the prosecutor for the sexual assault kits. I'm just really happy to see that that continues.
Yes, absolutely.
We've got another $303,000.
So much time and effort has been done for this, and we're so happy with the results, and they need as much funding as they can certainly get to continue the great work. So Tony, tell Kim that we're thankful for what she's doing and what she continues to do to be a light, as a matter of fact, throughout the country on this issue. She's very knowledgeable on this throughout the country, so thank you for what you're doing there. Commissioner Clark Coleman. Thank you.
And also, you know, she deserves a lot of credit for going out and getting these grants. You know, she personally goes out and seeks monies and grants for this program. So she ought to be commended for the work that she does.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yep. Any further discussion on public safety report? Hearing none, please vote.
Motion carries.
Next item.
We are on Report E from the Committee on Government Operations. There are 9 items listed on pages 8 through 10 of the agenda.
Commissioner Webb?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want, item number 1 has to be a receive and file. I'm moving to receive and file as amended. I want to thank the HR Director, Steve Malin, for providing the additional information we asked regarding the succession plan. So that one would be receive and file as amended. Items 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, and, no, just 2 and 3 are also receive and files. And then items 4 through 9 for approval.
There's support? Support. Any discussion? Commissioner Basham?
I'll be a no on the retroactive contract number 5.
Duly noted. Any further discussion on the report? Hearing none, please vote.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next item.
We are on page 11 of the agenda, upcoming committee and task force meetings.
Please note the meetings for next week, and there is a criminal justice task force meeting on today at 12, so note that as well. If there are any changes, please alert the clerk. Next item.
Public comments.
Is there anyone from the public? Do you have any cards?
Yes, I do.
Okay. You have 2 minutes.
Jim DeWhite.
Good morning, Madam Chair, and my District 7 Commissioner,
Good morning.
members of the commission. My name is Jim Dwight. I'm on the board of the Rosedale Park Improvement Association, and I work with Detroit Eviction Defense. While working with a woman, Michelle Burrell, to try to save her home, I got to thinking about the audit for the 2017 right of refusal project, where 72 properties were sold at a discount to 5 developers and 1 artist. And I want to thank Commissioner Bell for giving me a copy of that audit this morning. Thank you very much, Madam Chair. My question today is there an audit for the 2018 Action Before Auction program? Is there an audit for that completed? And if so, may I have a copy of that?
Okay, Mr. Dwight, I'll respond to you after the meeting, okay? I'll get the information and find out for you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Commissioners.
Thank you. Thanks for coming down today. We appreciate you. Anyone else like to address the Wayne County? Oh, I'm sorry, you have another card?
Yes.
Okay.
Joe McGuire.
Good morning. My name's Joe McGuire. I'm also with Detroit Eviction Defense. Jim mentioned Michelle Burrell earlier. She's a woman who lives on 11327 Warwick in Detroit. She was renting her house, or perhaps had some kind of purchase agreement with the owner for a few years, lives there with her children. And unbeknownst to her, her landlord let the house go into tax foreclosure. She had no idea, in fact, continued to pay her landlord monthly payments months and months after the house had actually been foreclosed on. The house got bought by Wayne County through the Action Before Auction program and then sold to a company called Realty Transition LLC, which operated out of Taylor, Michigan. Realty Transition got the property for, I believe, about $5,400, and the property is probably worth market value over $20,000. If you Google Realty Transition, the articles that pop up are that the owner recently was indicted by federal prosecutors for corruption charges out of Taylor. He got properties from the Taylor city government in exchange for doing favors and giving gifts to the mayor of Taylor. That's what he's accused of. What I'm coming to you for is, despite all this, despite the fact that the Action Before Auction program has since been discontinued by the Wayne County Land Bank, and despite the fact that one audit has come out showing many, many problems, some of which directly bear on Michelle Burrell's situation, Michelle Burrell is still facing eviction from Realty Transitions. She is currently in a lawsuit with Realty Transition and the Wayne County Land Bank. And so what I'm asking the commission to do, and the individual commissioners and anyone else who wants to help, is to try to put pressure on the Wayne County Land Bank and Realty Transitions to make a deal with Michelle Burrell, because that was what this program was supposed to do. It's supposed to facilitate deals and find some solution that can keep her and her children in her home. I have information here if anyone wants it about this. Thank you.
Thank you. Next card.
Patrick Driscoll.
Good morning. My name is Pat Driscoll. I'm a retired steel worker from U.S. Steel and a longtime resident of Detroit. I'm also with Detroit Eviction Defense and here to support what the two prior people have said in support of Ms. Burrell. I mean, we know we've had problems with the Action Before Auction program, and we've seen that. And people have actually made settlements that have gotten their property back. And we think you should examine this case and particularly look at the audit. The audit that came out points out that one of the key deficiencies was around controlling the eligibility, people who were eligible, making sure they knew about it, and there was it admits that the land bank failed to keep many records, and that there were deficiencies both on the land bank's part. And Transitions, Realty Transitions was singled out as dumping on quite a few of its properties even before some of its requirements were made, aside from along with other issues. But the point being is that there's enough knowledge, I think, in this room about the inadequacies of the program that this should be examined and resolved in the favor of Ms. Burrell and her family. So I'd like your consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. Any additional cards?
No additional cards.
Anyone else like to address the Wayne County Commission? Please come to the podium. Anyone else would like to address the Wayne County Commission? Okay, thank you. Next item.
New business, there is none listed. We're moving to testimonial resolutions and certificates of appreciation. There are 12 items listed on pages 11 through 13 of the agenda.
Move approval.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Discussion. Well, we have a very special discussion under testimonies and resolutions. As many of you know, especially those who have served on the Ways and Means Committee, Mr. Kevin Haney is retiring. And that's going to be a loss of so much institutional knowledge. Kevin, stand up. Not even stand up, Kevin. Come on up, Kevin. Come on up. Over the years, we've loved Kevin, we've hated Kevin, but we've always respected Kevin and what he had to do and what he needed to do in his position. It's very, very unfortunate when we lose someone with such knowledge who knows where all the bodies are buried, but we are going to wish him well on his future endeavors, and hopefully he'll still be consulted to us as we move forward. I know Kelly, I don't know if she's here, there she is, will be his replacement, has already started as his replacement as budget director, but we are just so thankful for you, Kevin, and all that you've done to help us with the budget over all these years, and so thankful that we have a special resolution tribute for you, so you'll never forget us. He may want to forget us, but he'll never forget us. So I'll read just a little bit of it, because I'm not going to read the whole thing. Honoring Kevin Haney, retiring following years of distinguished service to Wayne County, whereas with great pride and pleasure that we, the members of the Wayne County Commission, pause to recognize and bestow due honor upon Kevin Haney, whose 16 years in financial management for Wayne County will forever be appreciated and respected. Whereas Kenny Haney is the loving father of 3 precious daughters, his wife Patty, and proud grandparent of 7 beautiful grandchildren. Therefore, be it resolved this 23rd day, January 2020, this resolution will be spread upon the length of today's proceedings. Congratulations, Kevin. Thank you for your service to Wayne County. Words?
Thank you very much.
Want a word or two?
Well, to be perfectly honest with you, one of my last secrets that have just been found out by the commission is that I never read the agenda for the full board. So I was kind of surprised when I was called down here, but I want to thank each and every one of the commissioners that I've had to deal with over the number of years, the staff that, especially the staff, the budget staff, and the management and budget staff that have basically made me look better than I really am. And I want to appreciate you, everything you guys have done for me, and thank you very much for this.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Lampa.
Thank you.
Commissioner Basham?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to take a little credit for a couple of Kevin's gray hairs. And I'm really impressed with you, Madam Chair, that when you told Kevin to stand up, he actually listened to you. Thank you.
I am too. Thank you. Any other commissioners? Commissioner Anderson?
Thank you. I think the other members of Ways and Means especially will understand this, but I'm sure many others will, that I just wanted to confirm with Kevin. I understand you and Dwayne Seals have a vacation plan somewhere or something. You guys are.
True.
Thanks.
Financial people run together, it appears. Commissioner Webb?
Thank you, Kevin. I just want to say I really appreciate all the, I've been here for 11 of your 16 years, and every year when I do my newsletter, I go into all of the expenses, and I'm on the phone with Kevin throughout that whole time, and I know I'm a pain in your backside, but you've been great, and I appreciate you always giving me the information that I needed to do that. And, you have enormous shoes to fill. I just, enormous. So I wish Kelly all the best in doing that. But yeah, your absence is going to be felt in a major way. So I wish, but you know what? You probably earned every one of them gray hairs while you were here at the county. So, go enjoy your life and all your kids and your beautiful grandkids. And, that's what I would do. I would go on that vacation and stay there. Take care. It's not going to be with Dwayne. Not with Dwayne. No, with kids and the grandkids.
Commissioner Varga?
Thank you, Kevin. I really have enjoyed working with you. I know we've had some texts even from the airport as you're leaving for vacation. But I saw you come in and I'm watching you leave, and this is worse having you leave than when you first came in. So good luck to you, and I look forward to hearing that you're enjoying life. Thank you.
Commissioner Palomero, then Commissioner Haydes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I did chair Ways and Means for a couple terms, Kevin, and you were responsive to me before I chaired Ways and Means and after I chaired Ways and Means. You treated everybody with dignity and respect, and you didn't always give the answers that we wanted to hear, but you were a straight shooter on every single answer you gave. and the way you've conducted yourself, I think speaks volumes by having one of your former bosses come today to watch your retirement ceremony in the back. Former CFO Tony Saunders is here to come say hello, and I'm sure wish you well. Congratulations, you deserve a happy retirement.
Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Hayes?
More meeting than some of the members. So I enjoy your relationship with all the commissioner and your straightforward answer. Even when you say no, we receive it with a smile sometime. And I was one of them too. I have a big wish list for my district. But in general, I felt you did a fantastic job in finance and relationship with the commissioner and the staff, and we will miss you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Ware?
Kevin, I just want to thank you for your service and say a job well done. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's give Kevin another round of applause. Thank you, Kevin. All right, thank you, Kevin. And I just asked him if he could stay for a few minutes. We're almost at the end of the agenda for a group picture. All right, next item, please. Did we vote on this? Oh, need to vote. Okay. Let's please vote. We need Varga. Commissioner Scott, vote please.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next item.
We remain on page 13 of the agenda, memoriams. There are 6 names listed.
Thank you. Again, we want to give our sincere condolences to Octavia. Her father died suddenly, Mr. Charles Westbrook, so we want to keep her and her family in our prayers as she goes through this difficult time. Commissioner Marecki?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd just like you all to know that number 5, Robert Erpolding, is former Commissioner Laura Cox's father. So, and his funeral home is tonight and tomorrow, his funeral.
Okay, thank you. Didn't know that. Commissioner Baidoon?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to add a person who passed away this past week on behalf of Commissioner El Haydous and myself. I'd like to add Haji Suad Muhammad Ali Zain Faraj Bazi. She was a mother, a grandmother, and a wife, and she passed on after a brief illness. We extend our condolences to her family and to my friend Sam Bazi. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Any other comments? Hearing none, if everyone in the chambers could please stand for a moment of silence. Thank you. Next item, please.
Reconsiderations.
Are there any reconsiderations? Hearing none. Next item.
Remarks by members.
Remarks by members. Commissioner Basham.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Without getting into specifics, I would very much be interested, if my colleagues would be interested in favor of maybe even a resolution for the item brought before us under open business. If that makes sense, I can get into more detail if you want, but basically talking to Land Bank without getting into it. So
Let's work on something with Felicia and
Yes.
some
Thank you.
resolution. Okay.
I won't, okay.
Gotcha.
And then the other thing is, Madam Chair, if Jacob Arp could stand up, I'd like to introduce him. He's my grandson,
Oh,
and
hi,
he shouted at me for
grandson.
today. Thank you.
Welcome to the Wayne County Commission meeting. You have a great grandpa. Thank you. The good looks for your grandma. Commissioner Hayter said that, not me. Commissioner Webb?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just have just a quick comment. I would just like to encourage the Auditor General to do an audit on action before auction. You know, we only do audits every 2 years, and on each department, that's per the charter. So it hasn't even been 2 years. The audit that was done on the right to refusal program was because it was 2 years ago. You know, it was the year prior. So the time hasn't passed really to do that audit. So I just would recommend that in the future, whenever, if ever, their schedule allows, that they do that. I think the findings of the first audit are enough to encourage or provoke the second one. So that's just the only suggestion that I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Anderson?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to once again thank everyone for their comments about Mr. Anthony Lucas's performance this morning. I was very moved by it once again. I've seen him a couple times and heard him, and I was very moved again. I had a little bit of a discussion in my office with him about just putting ourselves in the place of Martin Luther King and what that must have been like with small children and the threats to his family and himself. I think we can all understand threats and handle threats to ourselves, but to think about your children and your wife and I think at that time he was only in his 30s, and that is just amazing how strong of a soul he had. But I did want to let everyone know I'll pass along information about some upcoming things that he's going to be at, that I'll put them together in your mailbox. And also, please contact my office if you need his contact information and you'd like to have him come at an event. He's a remarkable person. I mean, just to get to know him, he's a very decent person and a very nice and accommodating person. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. See another hand? No? Tentatively put on your schedules a cow, February 13th. That's a Thursday, so just tentatively put that on your schedule. And it'll probably be a lengthy one, so we'll have something formal to go out in the next few days. 10 o'clock. But it'll be confirmed within the next few days. Any further remarks by members? Commissioner Scott.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Know you did a resolution on human trafficking, but there is a group in Grosse Pointe that I worked with while I was in the legislature. And just yesterday, I was going through a lot of my archives, and I have a real thick package on human trafficking that I worked with them. And so I don't know what you plan to do, but that is a great group, and if you'd like my notes and
Please.
stuff.
Yes, please share that. Thank you for that, Commissioner, because there's another group in Oakland County I know, they're called SOAP, S-O-A-P, and I really want them to come speak to us as well. They help during the auto shows and the Woodward Cruise when there's a lot of people in town, and they put a number of help on the SOAP in the motels in the area. So there's a lot of efforts going on. I would like for us as a body to do something together on this issue. I haven't thought it through yet, but I think it's such an important issue, and I think we need to be at the forefront of working on this issue, since all of us represent the entirety of Wayne County, to do something on this. So stay tuned to something, but I'd love to have your notes
Doing
with that.
that 10, 15 years ago. So
Absolutely,
yes,
right. So the fight
still
continues.
doing that.
The fight
That is
continues.
the Zontas of Grosse Pointe.
Zontas. Thank you for that. Commissioner Webb?
Thanks, and to that point, and I really appreciate your interest in that, because I think we're number 5 in the country because we have the international border,
Right.
and one of the single worst nights for human trafficking is the opening night of the auto show. I love the SOAP program. I've written checks to support that, too. It's an excellent idea that they have. So just want to give you another resource. Former State Senator Judy Emmons and Livonia's city council chair, who worked for her, Laura Toy, worked on the human trafficking stuff for probably 4 or 5 years. And I've been to places where they've brought, Teresa Flores wrote a book about it. She was a victim of it. And I've been to many of those discussions, panels, where they brought women out that were victims of human trafficking. And just some heart-wrenching stories. And these are all people in the Detroit metropolitan area, so it's happening all around us right now, and how they were helped. And they have a ton of resources that throughout Wayne County even that would be, they can make available. You could work with them. They would just be a great resource for you to put something comprehensive together on something we could do here in Wayne County to fight human trafficking. So
Absolutely.
really appreciate your interest in that.
Yeah, it's grown, but the good thing is more people are becoming more aware of it, because people are talking about it now more so than they were 5, 10, 13 years ago, which is a great thing, but we have to continue to talk about it, so. Okay, hearing no other comments, is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
All right, thank you, meeting adjourned. And please come up front, take a picture with Kevin Haney. Thank you.